Meta announces a new AI chip, Apple bans employees from ChatGPT, and the New York City Public School unbans ChatGPT from their halls. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown, all the AI headline news you need in 5 minutes or less. Well, today we start with the hardware wars heating up. We've heard recently about a number of different companies starting to compete in the hardware space for their AI efforts, and Meta has now joined those ranks. Yesterday, the company posted this blog post, reimagining our infrastructure for the AI age. The key takeaways for their articles are their, quote, ambitious plan to build the next generation of our infrastructure backbone specifically built for AI. And they say that that includes, quote, our first generation custom silicon chip for running AI models, a new AI optimized data center design, and the second phase of our 16,000 GPU supercomputer for AI research. So the first thing that they announced is what they call the MTI chip, or Meta Training and Interface Accelerator. According to the blog post, the chip provides, quote, greater compute power and efficiency and is customized for our internal workloads. Now, in addition to the MTIA, Meta is also introducing a new ASIC, which is specifically designed to help with video transcoding. This they're calling the MSVP, or Meta Scalable Video Processor. The MSVP is designed to help them support both, quote, the high-quality transcoding needed for video on demand, as well as the low latency and faster processing times that live streaming requires. So you can imagine that they're thinking about AI-produced AR and VR content given how much emphasis Meta has on the metaverse. They also discussed their next-generation data center design, as well as the second phase of their research supercluster, or RSC AI supercomputer. And given that we've heard about this supercomputer before, some are taking this as effectively Facebook or Meta positioning itself relative to other hardware news that's come out recently. An example of that was earlier this month when reports came out that AMD was partnering with Microsoft on its Athena project, through which it's developing custom AI chips to compete with NVIDIA. Even after a Microsoft spokesperson denied those reports, AMD's stock still went up, which suggests just how significantly AI is being seen from public market investors. Another company that public markets are watching closely to see what their AI efforts might be is, of course, Apple. The news yesterday, however, was not about some new product announcement, but that Apple has followed a number of other companies in restricting its employees' use of ChatGPT. Samsung did this earlier this year, and of course the concern is that proprietary data from Apple or Samsung or whichever company makes these type of restrictions would find its way into OpenAI's training models. OpenAI, maybe in response to these types of prohibitions, did announce that the ChatGPT business version, which would be forthcoming, would be private by default, i.e. their models would not train on that proprietary data. However, that seems to be not enough of a reassurance for many companies, given the level of secrecy around these new technologies. In addition to the prohibition on ChatGPT, Apple also said that its employees could not use GitHub's Copilot, which is owned by Microsoft. Now, one revelation that's buried in this Wall Street Journal report is that Apple is apparently working on its own LLM as well. That's basically all the journal says about it, though, and it's just according to people, quote, familiar with the matter. Apple has been super cagey about its AI efforts, which leaves people to read the tea leaves, or in this case, jobs boards. A number of outlets reported yesterday that Apple has posted at least a dozen jobs relating to generative AI on its career page. Those job listings started appearing at the end of April and have been updated up to this week. Now, it's not exactly clear what these generative AI specialists would work on, but as TechCrunch writes, some of the roles focus specifically on visual generative AI applications, for machine learning experts to work on, quote, visual generative modeling to power applications across computation photography, image and video editing, 3D shape and motion reconstruction, and avatar generation. Apple has its WWDC event next month, which is its developer-focused event, and people are wondering if we're going to see a little bit more about Apple's AI plans. Finally, heading the opposite direction to Apple, New York City schools have lifted their ban on ChatGPT, saying that as they've dug into it, they weren't necessarily appreciating all the upsides and benefits that ChatGPT could afford. David Banks, the head of the city's public schools, said that they had a, quote, knee-jerk fear and risk response, but they've evolved that to one of cautious exploration. In an op-ed, he wrote, the knee-jerk fear and risk overlook the potential of generative AI to support students and teachers, as well as the reality that our students are participating in and will work in a world where understanding generative AI is crucial. While initial caution was justified, it has now evolved into an exploration and careful examination of this new technology's power and risks. It sounds like part of their opinion was changed by seeing how ChatGPT was used positively in the classrooms. Banks cited students at a Queens middle school who were, quote, debating ethical issues surrounding AI prejudice, as well as figuring out both how to ask ChatGPT questions but then verify whether the information it was giving was true. Banks said the New York City Public Schools will encourage and support our educators and students as they learn about and explore this game-changing technology, while also creating a repository and community to share their findings across our schools. This to me seems like a radically smarter response to ChatGPT and other generative AI than just banning it, and a recognition that this is now a part of the future that students will be participating in. If the goal of schools is to help people prepare for that future, they can't just ignore it. Anyways, guys, that's it for the breakdown brief. If you're enjoying this, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll be back soon with the main AI breakdown.